Good afternoon. Welcome to R.Ed TV, Real Education Television, where we talk about real learning, real education, real teaching, real results. On today's episode, we're dealing with young writers. I get a lot of calls and emails regarding educators who would like to help the young person write well. And the way you write well is to write more. Today's episode is about Baby Skeletons, the project for Literacy University that helps young people write memoirs. I have the opportunity to take you through some steps on how you can get the young person to write a memoir. This particular course is helpful to teens grades 9 through 12. I think it's very, very helpful if you were to take a moment, find some paper, and get ready to take some notes. Or you could take some notes on maybe your iPad. Let's get started. Baby Skeletons is a writing program that got started through dealing with young people who have a lot of problems. In today's world, unfortunately, teens go through the same heartaches and problems and devastations that adults do. But unfortunately, they don't have an outlet for their problems. Baby Skeletons is a program that inspires young people to write. Journal writing, memoir writing is a great outlet for teens who wish to express themselves. How do they get started? Our course, Baby Skeletons, at Literacy University involves lots of different steps, but they're very easy. The first step is to teach the young people about writing. How do you express yourself through writing? How do you get your ideas on paper? The first step is to understand the process of writing, which is generating your ideas. How do you do that? So let's talk about how I would know this information. I'm a published author, a veteran journalist, a veteran teacher, a learning specialist. As a learning specialist, I also have the opportunity to be a writing specialist as well. So I'm certified as a learning specialist and a writing specialist. And in my years of teaching writing, I've learned that the best way to get young people to write is through generating ideas. One of the best ways to get young people to write, especially a memoir, is to help them generate ideas. Begin with getting all of their ideas on paper. These are called writing prompts. If you present ideas to young people in terms of writing, the first response they have is, I've not experienced that, okay? As a young writing teacher, I used to say to the kids, what do you want to write about? And here are some of the ideas they came up with. Death, divorce, okay? Problems. And I realized I was being way too flowery with my writing seminar. I needed to ask the young people, what inspires you? It doesn't have to be butterflies and sunsets. So what's the best way to inspire young people to write? Get them to put their ideas on paper. Do not give them their own props. Allow them to come up with their own writing prompts. One of the easiest way for them to get an idea is to listen to music. Okay? And of course, we know that the music they love to listen to is rap. Many young people are inspired by rap. And that's okay. That's actually good. Because the raps in today's world literally reflect how the young people are thinking. So let's get to work. What we want to do now that we are writing is go mining for memoirs. Okay? We're mining our memories. It's like digging for gold. We're going to get our young people to delve into their hearts, into their spirits, into their brains, and mine for memoirs. Dig up the memories. You're going to be met with resistance, writing teachers. You're going to be met with a lot of balking, a lot of talk back, a lot of pushback. Move forward anyway. Tell your young writers you are mining for memoirs. You are pushing the envelope so far that it almost ends in tears. How is this done? Start by having a song played. And again, have young people pick their own song, their own rap, their own piece of music. They can listen to headphones. They might even want to come up with a playlist. Okay. When we come back, I'll give you more information on the next step and the reasons why this is going to be a very difficult process in just a moment. Once you have decided that you are a writer and that you're going to be mining for memoirs, you're going to have young people say to you, what is the purpose? What is the purpose for me writing at all? And I have a lot of reasons why young people should write. For one thing, it's therapeutic. It really is therapy for young people to write down their feelings. It's a catharsis. The catharsis is the idea that you've generated an idea that has pushed through your psyche and allowed your emotions to come through. This is wonderful because a lot of people kind of push their emotions down. They're told that they shouldn't cry. Girls are told that they should be strong. Boys are told that they should be strong. So no one has the opportunity to have a catharsis. Another purpose for writing is to overcome obstacles. Okay. When you overcome obstacles, you realize that you have now pushed past the problem. So those are reasons why you should write. The next idea to cover is, why should we write? And how? How do we write a memoir? If you're only in high school, You may say to yourself, I really don't have much to say. But unfortunately, there is a way to push to the idea of success in writing. The first idea is to think about, how do you make your ideas flow? How do they make sense? And how do you make them readable? These are great points to think about when you are writing a memoir. It's different from writing fiction. But first you have to overcome your fear of writing. I talk to a lot of young people who will express fear in other people's thoughts of their writing. This is a huge obstacle to young people in their work. If a young person is going to write and let other people read it, they have to get over the fear that they are going to be criticized. So you have to tell people, this is my story. In other words, this is the way I remember my idea. This is the way I remember my memory. The work, the situation that I'm writing about is what happened to me. And if it's my story, I can tell it. Great mantra to have when you are dealing with young people who are writing is to promise them that the truth will set them free. You have the opportunity to change people's names. You can change the location. But the truth of the matter is, this is what happened to me. So if you're talking about divorce, if you're talking about death, if you're talking about abortion, if you're talking about rape, perhaps other people are involved in these horrible acts, but if it happened to you, you can tell it. The other people who are involved, you can change their names. There are millions and millions of ideas that you can write about. Let's talk about a few of them. Write about what's happening in your neighborhood. What's happening in your neighborhood all around you? There's billions of subjects that you can pick from in that area. Let's talk about what's happening to your family. Sickness and problems and other things that you've experienced in your family life. When you have these topics, decide, how do you relate to these topics? Okay. Now, teachers, let's give the young people an opportunity to generate 5 ideas that they can think of that they would like to write 5 sentences about each. So at this time, ask the writers to generate 5 ideas that they would like to write about. Okay? Once they have generated 5 ideas, then they should write 5 sentences about each idea. So you have idea number 1, idea number 2, and so on. And for each idea, you are generating 5 sentences each. This becomes a bank of information for when you're ready to generate your memoir. In actuality, these 5 ideas become 5 different chapters. So let's wrap this up. What have we learned from today's session on writing your memoir? The first idea to think about is, you should write right now. Don't glorify the act of writing by putting it off and thinking you have to have a special circumstance in order to write a memoir. Today is your day. The next idea to think about is, if it's your story, then you can tell it. If it happened to you, then it's your story. Always remember that a memoir helps you deal with your problems. It gives you a catharsis. It gives you a way to understand your world. Remember that you can change names. locations, but keep the circumstance. Thank you very much. At this time, if you have the opportunity to have a Q&A, please write to me at literacyuniversity@gmail.com if you have any questions on generating ideas for memoirs. And if you have an interesting topic that you would like to talk about, why don't you become a guest on R.Ed TV? Young writers, teachers, educators, principals, and administrators, if you have interest in helping young people to write, if you have any questions and you'd like to send me a question or deal with something on Real Education Television, send me an email to realedutv1@gmail.com. And please subscribe to our television show on YouTube at Real Education Television. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you next time on R.Ed TV. Thank you.
Enter.